How do you use direct opposition to win chess endgames? Imagine two kings facing each other across a chessboard, each trying to outsmart the other in a game of patience and precision. That's what opposition is all about. It's a simple yet powerful idea used in the endgame to control the position and force your opponent into making unfavorable moves. When your king and your opponent's king stand on the same rank or file with exactly one square between them, you have what's called direct opposition. The key is to use this to your advantage by making your opponent move first. When they do, they often have to step aside or retreat, giving you the chance to advance your king or support your pawns. To use opposition effectively, first understand who has the opposition. The player who is not to move is said to have the opposition. This means your opponent must make a move that often benefits you because it pushes their king into a weaker position. For example, if your king is directly in front of theirs with one square in between, and it's your turn, you can move forward to keep the opposition. When your opponent moves, they might be forced to step back or sideways, which can open up pathways for your king to penetrate their defenses. In king and pawn endgames, opposition becomes even more important. It helps you control the critical squares your pawn needs to reach for promotion. By maintaining opposition, you can prevent the opposing king from blocking your pawn's path. When your pawn is ready to promote, using opposition can stop the enemy king from getting close enough to stop it. You can push your king forward, forcing theirs to move away, and then bring your pawn closer to promotion. Sometimes, you need to make waiting moves. These are moves that do not change the opposition but keep your king in a position to respond to your opponent's move. Waiting moves can force your opponent into a position called zugzwang, where they are forced to make a move that worsens their position. This is especially useful when you want to keep control and wait for the perfect moment to push your pawn or king forward. Opposition isn't just about facing each other directly. There are other forms like diagonal opposition or distant opposition, which can help you maneuver into the perfect position. For example, if your king is on a light square and the opponent's king is on a dark square, you might need to shift your king around to set up direct opposition later. In practical play, the goal is to keep your king in a position where your opponent's king is forced to move away from key squares. This allows your king to get closer to supporting your pawns or attacking their king. When your king can control the critical squares, you can push your pawn to promote or force a checkmate. Let's say you have a pawn about to promote and your king is nearby. Using opposition, you can keep your opponent's king away from the pawn's promotion square. When they are forced to move, you can then advance your pawn safely. This technique often decides the outcome in king and pawn endgames, turning small advantages into wins. In summary, mastering opposition is about controlling the king's relative position so your opponent is forced into making moves that favor you. It helps your king to advance, supports your pawns, and ultimately leads to promotion or checkmate. Practice this concept in your endgames, and you'll see how it transforms simple king moves into powerful winning tools.